Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Freddy or Not, where my name is Freddy and I am ready to dive into today's topic, which is a bunch of monks in funny chairs. That's right, we're talking about the Jedi Council. So be sure to like and subscribe, because today we're ranking every single member of the Jedi Council from weakest to strongest. I should clarify, that doesn't mean just because someone has more force power than someone, they're going to be ranked higher. It's more like if they're more likely to win in a fight, generally. Some disclaimers right off the bat: we will only be using information from the Legends continuity, because I want to. Now, it should also be said, I will be including characters from both the Old Republic and the New Jedi Order, aka Luke's Jedi Order. So yeah. Finally, I am not George Lucas, so if you disagree with any of my rankings, that's fine. Just leave a comment or whatever saying what you disagreed with and why. I'm interested to see what your perspectives are. And I guess I should just rip the band-aid off. There is some power creep in Star Wars, alright? I'm sorry to say, but there is. Like, a very easy example of this is Darth Desalis. He's a Sith Lord who's known for killing almost 2,000 Jedi, and it took the entire Jedi Council to kill him, right? Monster of a man.
It took the entire council to kill me, boy.
But in the prequel era, they sent Padawans to fight a simulation of this guy. That's crazy. Not to mention, knights from the New Jedi Order are just expressly stated stronger than knights from the Clone Wars, right? So, with that established, let's just jump right in. As you might be able to see, I did rank the nobodies already. Like, these are people with no pictures, no names, and no accomplishments. The only people even worth talking about here are Bail Ductivus, who was a Grandmaster of the Order, and Thame Cerulean, who is Dooku's master. But beyond that, there's really nothing to say. Jumping right into it then, let's put some people in here to start establishing this list, right? First off, Tion Solusar. How is she a master? Like, legitimately, every single time they ever talk about her force powers, it's only to clarify how weak she is. Like, she is borderline like a reject from the academy. Like, Luke almost said, "I don't want you, get out of here," you know? Her becoming a knight was already something they thought was impossible. Her becoming a master is something I thought was impossible. That's crazy. The only thing she ever did that was cool with the Force was her and her husband made this giant illusion around the entirety of the moon of Yavin, which seems really impressive until you remember she was probably doing none of the heavy lifting. I mean, Tion once had her arm and leg blasted off, and, like, she saw it coming, she tried to react, and she just wasn't fast enough. Like, none of the other masters, hopefully, are taking an L that bad, so Tion has a tier all on her own. Yeah. Next up, Anakin Skywalker. Okay. This guy, he's going in the Chosen One tier. Also, don't worry about the names of the tiers. I just had to name them with something, so they're just random words. Don't worry about it. But Anakin, some of you might be wondering, why is he so high? Some of you might be wondering why he's so low. Well, I put him here based on two premises. Number one, he's the strongest person in Revenge of the Sith. I mean, right off the bat, there are several statements of him being the strongest Jedi in the Old Republic. Even as early as Episode 2, they say he might be stronger than Yoda, just not as skilled. Now, this is not to say that Episode 2 Anakin beats Yoda. No, not even close. Just to point out that the gap is only due to skill and not power, which is why his fall to the dark side made him so strong, because it let him better use the power he already had. I mean, he also beats Dooku, who constantly fights evenly with Yoda and Mace. That should already show you how strong it is. Now, I know people like to say he's Obi-Wan level because he lost to Obi-Wan, but he was heavily nerfed in that battle. I mean, he literally lost his Sith eyes and was crying when that fight started. The novel describes him as being between worlds, and I mean, he only gets his Sith eyes back after the end of that fight. And I mean, it makes sense that he was nerfed, because Obi-Wan was bullied by Dooku at the start of the movie, and Anakin beat Dooku, so him losing to Obi-Wan wouldn't make any sense if he was that strong. Further evidence of Anakin being this strong is how George Lucas states that you have to either be Mace or Yoda to compete with the Emperor, but mentions if Anakin hadn't gotten all beaten up, he could have beat the Emperor. And This information is further backed up by the alternate ending of the Revenge of the Sith video game, in which Anakin, after killing Obi-Wan, kills Sidious and becomes the Emperor. Regardless, that's the first premise. The second premise is that Anakin is stronger as Vader. Vader is constantly getting stronger, right? This is stated multiple times. An easy example of this is Starkiller, right? Like, he loses to Starkiller, and a year later is overwhelming his stronger clone, with the clone only winning due to exploiting Vader's weakness to electricity. In episode 4, it's stated that he's more powerful than he was before, and in episode 6, it's stated that he's the strongest he's ever been, and only lost to Luke because he was nerfed due to being conflicted. Long story short, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, is 80% of the Emperor and is an absolute monster, completely eclipsing the prequel era in terms of power. Now, that's a pretty controversial way to start off the list, but we're gonna move. Okay, the swtor. Okay, this is the Jedi Council class from swtor, or Star Wars The Old Republic. I don't know if it's pronounced swtor. I said that because of KOTOR, but regardless, the swtor, he is, like all classes in the game, able to become the Outlander who's stated to be the biggest threat to Valkorion, which would make him stronger than Revan, so he's here, he's strong. Okay, Kakruk. Okay, Kakruk, he fights Asajj Ventress and Grievous. He does not win, though, but he puts up a fight. Okay, why did I put him above the swtor? Okay, the scaling chain is pretty simple. Because Kakruk fights Grievous, and Grievous is comparable to Episode 3 Obi-Wan, who's above Savage Opress, who's about as strong as Phantom Menace Maul. And Maul is stronger than Darth Bane. Darth Bane was stated to be the strongest Sith up to that point when he was alive, and that includes characters like Darth Nox, who's the Sith Inquisitor class from Star Wars The Old Republic. And I imagine all 8 classes are equal due to them all literally having the possibility to become the Outlander. So in short, Kakruk fights someone relative to Maul. Maul is stronger than Bane. Bane is stronger than Nox. And Nox is equal to the swtor. So Kakruk above the swtor. No, I mean, it's kind of bad, bro. The Old Republic kind of gets immediately power cliffed by Bane. I mean, except for Valkorion, but that's a different story. Okay, Lana Vash. She gets killed by Darth Sion. Okay, Oteg. He's like a fleet admiral or something like that. So he's good in like aerial combat and commanding troops, but we never really see him fight one-on-one, so I'll put him here. Okay, Bella. She lost to who? Praven? So Praven was the apprentice of Darth Angral, who's not even on the Dark Council. She goes right here. Okay, Orgus Din. He fought Darth Angral like twice. Died the second time. Darth Angral's not on the Dark Council, so yeah, about there. Oh, okay. Saesee Tin. Oh, Agen Kolar Ankavit. Okay, so the whole Mace Strike team. Okay, these guys are stated to be some of the most powerful Jedi ever, right? Like, these were the top dogs on Coruscant. Mace called up the strongest Jedi he knew that were on Coruscant to go fight Mace Windu. And that includes Saesee Tin. So I'll put him in Strike Force here. Yeah, Saesee Tin is more of a support type guy. You know, he's always supporting people. He's a big starfighter type character. So he's there. Agen Kolar, probably above Saesee Tin for the reasons I just said. And Agen Kolar was kind of decimating Quinlan Vos, who's a strong character in his own right. And finally, Kit Fisto. He lasted the longest against Sidious. Definitely the strongest person in the task force, not counting Mace. Jaina Solo Fett. Okay, she's one of the strongest characters in Star Wars. Like, she, Sword of the Jedi, equal to every member on the council, including Luke. Of course, Luke is typically suppressed, but still, she beat Kaitis, and Kaitis is someone who just barely lost to an enraged Luke, and when Luke saw a rematch with Kaitis, like how that would go, like a vision, he saw he would beat Kaitis, but risk falling to the dark side in the process. So, high-intensity fight, and Jaina Solo beat that guy. Nah, she's the Sword of the Jedi for a reason. Okay, next up, Octa Ramus. She's one of those starfighter type people, but, I think she beat one of the Sith Sabers by using telekinesis on like an electric cable, and the Sith Sabers are the Sith counterpart to the new Jedi Order Knights, and like I said, or maybe I didn't say, the Knights of the new Jedi Order are stronger than the Knights of the Clone Wars, so it's an impressive feat. So I'll put her here at top of the Kinfight Knights tier. She actually won a fight, unlike these two, so. Oh, Tresina Lobi. Oh my god, bro. She was cooking. She was actually cooking. I'm going to put her in godly, okay? Tresina Lobi is kind of an underrated character, as in, she really doesn't do much except for that one time she popped the hell off, alright? And she popped off against the Dark Lady Lumaya and Alima Rar. And Alima is someone comparable to Leia, and Lumaya fought evenly with Luke and almost killed him. So, Lobi here, by taking advantage of her surroundings, she was able to fight both of these two at the same time and almost win, even going as far as to cut off Lumaya's arm. Now, even if she doesn't completely scale to Lumaya, she definitely scales above Alima Rar, she was bullying her. This is still insanely impressive, and I would argue you would have to be at least around this tier power to do something like that. Like, for context of how crazy this feat is, imagine like Kit Fisto, right? Imagine Kit Fisto fighting Maul and Sidious at the same time and almost winning, even going as far as to cut off Sidious's arm. It's crazy. Tresina Lobi, underrated. Okay. Mara Jade. Okay, we're really in the new Jedi Order characters here. Okay, Mara Jade Skywalker is an insanely strong person. You might question having her above Anakin. I'll explain why. Off rip, she was probably about Episode 6 Luke level from the jump, since she was sent to execute Episode 6 Luke after the Emperor saw his fight with Vader, right? And she did kill Luke's clone, who was just fighting evenly with Luke, and that was just in her first introduction. After decades of training, she started doing some nutty stuff, right? Like, you can talk about her fight with Kaidos, which was an extremely close fight, although it was confirmed Kaidos was obviously stronger and gonna win that fight, since she was like manipulating the surroundings to make sure she would get an advantage. Sure, whatever, she doesn't scale entirely to Kaidos, but she had a pretty even fight with the Dark Lady Lumaya, who, as I just said, is someone who fought evenly with Luke and mortally wounded him. Now, Mara Jade Skywalker was throwing hands with Lumaya, who can throw hands with Luke. She's a crazy character. And in case you're wondering, I'll just say it right now, Legends Luke is that guy. Okay, it's Hilly Kwa. He exists above Lawn of Ash because he didn't die. He was never in a fight, so, okay. Trasa. She's part of the Council in the Legacy era. But like Kukruk here, we only really know their feats from the Clone Wars, and in the Clone Wars, she kind of outperforms Barriss Offrey, who is someone who previously fought Asajj Ventress, so yeah, probably like around here. Okay, Nomi Sunrider, my bad, Grandmaster Nomi Sunrider. She's like comparable to Eula Keldroma, who's in turn comparable to Exar Kun. Meaning she is definitely deserving of being in this tier. I mean, you gotta keep in mind Naga Sadow, who's way weaker than Exar Kun, was considered a threat by the weaker forms of the Sith Emperor.
The Emperor knew the spirits of the ancient Sith Lords could be a threat to his power.
So Exar Kun, who's someone who's stronger than Naga Sadow, is definitely still relevant. Definitely deserves to just be one tier below the main character of SWTOR, you know what I mean? Okay, Zekal L. Oh. Okay, it's the Council from KOTOR 2. These guys, they can fight masters. They fought Mitra Surik one-on-one. Kavar. They thought he would make a difference in the Mandalorian War, probably above this guy. Farouk was the head of the council. I'll put him at the top. Yeah, these guys are capable of fighting Mitra Surik one-on-one. They lost, but they could fight her. So, yeah, right there. You know, because, yeah, no, it makes sense. Deepa Bilaba. When she fell to the dark side, she threw hands with Mace. She did a good job, honestly. So, obviously she was being amped, and Mace was being heavily nerfed, but it's still really impressive. I'll probably put her right here, right below the strike team. Okay, Dorjander Case. This was like the Mandalorian Jedi guy. His lightsaber skills weren't really up to par. It said he compensated it with dirty fighting. But like everyone in the comic book KOTOR series, he spends his whole time getting juked out by a Padawan. So, yeah, he can fight, I guess. Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is about to be controversial. So, this is like, this is supposed to be a picture of old Ben, but it just felt wrong. I need Ewan McGregor. I'll put him right here in Godly, okay? Because he scales somewhat to Episode 4 Vader, who is stronger than his Revenge of the Sith self, as I said before. Now, it's a little debatable how much he scales to Vader. You know, there are some sources that are like, they're fighting evenly. He couldn't break Kenobi's guard. Other sources where it's like, oh, he knew he was going to lose. He was just buying time. And other ones like, oh, he's losing stamina. All in all, to me, it seems like he's about even, but he just has less stamina, so he's gonna lose. And, I mean, Vader acknowledges Obi-Wan. Like, he says, you know, he called him weak, but he acknowledges that he was wrong. And it, at one point, even says that should his attention falter, Obi-Wan would kill him in the blink of an eye. Definitely seems comparable to me. So, he's, like, comparable to Episode 4 Anakin. And Anakin obviously Vader got way stronger than that, so. Okay. Coleman Kasaj. I think they call him like a formidable warrior at one point, so. I guess he's above Oteg. Because he can fight. We don't know if Oteg can fight. He can fight starfighters, though. Okay, Stas Ali. So, she's more like a healer diplomat character, at least compared to her cousin. But, she did alright. I mean, she fought Grievous's Magnus Guard. She defeated 2 of Grievous's Magnus Guard before fighting Grievous herself and escaping. She didn't win, but she put up a good fight. That's honestly impressive. Grievous is strong. So, right there is where she goes. Kenneth Hamner. Oh, my bad. Let me put respect on the name. Grandmaster Kenneth Hamner. Alright, this guy was the Grandmaster replacing Luke when Luke was, no longer Grandmaster briefly. He fought Saba Sabatine, and, well, he lost, but he put up a good fight. I'll put him in this tier. Mainly because Saba Sabatine is a beast, as we'll probably discuss later. Okay. Jocasta Nu. In the canon, she did some cool stuff. In Legends, though, she just kind of is a little annoying and then gets one-shot by Vader, so. Yeah, I guess she exists. I guess getting killed by Vader's better than getting killed by Sion. Okay. Oh, Adrista Pina. My bad. Grandmaster Adrista Pina. Pina is actually kind of strong, mainly because this is the Grandmaster that, like, soloed the entire, first Great Jedi Schism. And the way this makes him, like, goated is by scaling to Arden Lyn, who he basically, like, mutual striked in the end. Like, she killed him by, like, exploding his weapon. He got hit by the shrapnel, but he, like, slowed her heart and, like, killed her. But her mystic amulet kept her alive. So, the reason this makes Pina so strong is because Lyn, like, wakes up during the Empire era and just causes havoc, right? Like, right off the bat, she fights 3 Inquisitors, including the Grand Inquisitor, before being defeated. She proceeds to train people strong enough to beat, like, a post-Episode 4 Luke Skywalker, and she supposedly captured Sidious with the help of her 2 apprentices. Now, there's a lot of, there's a lot of debate on how strong this makes her, right? Like, depending on how strong you think Luke Skywalker is, how highly you rate her capture of Sidious. There is the fact that she is confirmed weaker than Vader, so that's something. But, like, all in all, I took notice of the fact that they compared her capture of Sidious to Grievous's capture of Palpatine, and just to make it easy on myself, I'm gonna assume that Palpatine liked that first capture. He wasn't threatened, and she's probably around like that Episode 3 Grievous tier, just to make things easy. So, Adrista Pina, who, like, stalemated Arden Lyn, around Episode 3 Grievous level. So, there we go. Love to hear your guys' takes on that one. Okay, next up, Evan Peel. This guy is like, Oh, he's a fearsome warrior. He's a fearsome warrior. He's goated with the lightsaber. He knows all 7 forms of combat. He gets no diffed by weird wolves, okay? I don't care if he was off guard. He's strong. Like, all the people in the High Council in the prequel era are strong since they are stated to be strong several times and scale above all non-council characters, but, like, he's like the bottom tier of the council. No, Alright, Lucien Dre. He's a strong guy. He has a couple fights, but like everyone in the KOTOR comic series, he spends the entire time getting juked out by Padawans, so... Alright, Asina. You know she was the second Darth Traya? Yeah, after falling to the dark side, she should be stronger than the others in the council with her. Oh yeah, she's from KOTOR 2, by the way. Okay, Plo Koon. Oh my god, bruh. Plo Koon is like a god among men. He is actually like goated for real, for real. Well, yeah. I'm looking up some of the statements about him. They said some like nutty stuff about him. Yeah, okay, I gotta hear. They said he had lightsaber skills that prove a challenge for any Jedi. He was stated to be one of the most powerful Jedi. He was compared directly to Mace Windu. He once beat Yoda in a spar.
I heard you're one of the only Jedi to have ever beaten Master Yoda in a duel.
And he has his own form of lightning called Electric Judgment. Nah, Plo Koon is a demon! Oh my god, easy top tier. Alright, McCall, he was one of the companions in KOTOR 2, so like the companions in most RPGs, he should be able to participate in fights that the protagonist did, so he's around this like KOTOR, SWTOR protag level, like around that tier. So yeah, right there. Okay. Belf Elusis. He participated in the war at Bothawi, so it's like there. I'm sure he fought someone strong there, like a Sith or two. Ooh, Cam Solusar. Cam Solusar is pretty strong. Okay, he's a battle master, so like Evan Peel here, he knows all 7 forms of lightsaber combat. And like, right when you meet him, he fights Luke Skywalker. And this is like a Luke Skywalker who just beat the Emperor like 6 months prior. And sure, Luke is holding back because he wants to redeem Cam Solusar, which he did. But like, he expressly has to put effort in. So I ask you, how strong do you think is someone that, like a Emperor fighting tier character, has to put effort into fighting you? Like, I'd say he's got to be like around this level, okay? Let me explain why. Let's take like Vader and Luke from episode 5, right? Vader is weaker than the Emperor, and Luke is stronger than Obi-Wan. Spoilers, right? I mean, no, I'll just mention it. Episode 5, Luke is just directly stated to be the strongest Jedi ever. And they mention Yoda and Old Ben by name. It's crazy, okay? The point is, Vader wasn't really struggling against Luke, and he decimated him, and he also wasn't trying to kill Luke. So, to have someone stronger than Vader, like Luke, like Dark Empire Luke, fight someone, like, let's say as weak as Obi-Wan from episode 4, he wouldn't really need to struggle, right? So the fact that he was struggling against Cam Solusar, at least in this logic, if you're following me, would put him above episode 4 Obi-Wan. Although, but I can understand some people putting him lower, right? Like, the evidence isn't as concrete as perhaps I would like it to be. So, if I were gonna lowball, I'd say that, like, since was a dark side elite, he should at least be above like the Shadow Guard, and the Shadow Guard were strong enough to be considered a boss battle to Starkiller after he had beaten a stronger Shaak Ti in Force Unleashed. So, you know, bare minimum, Cam Solusar should be around that Shaak Ti level if you want to lowball him. So that's just for anyone who doesn't believe the Cam Solusar hype. I mean, I should point out though, Cam Solusar is one to have sparred evenly with Corran Horn, which doesn't mean anything, but once I rate Corran Horn, you'll see how crazy that is. Alright, Silgal. She's like, is she the greatest Jedi healer, like, ever? I'll look into that. Okay, but Silgal, yeah, right here. She's stated, like, weak for, like, Luke's Academy standards. Like, don't get me wrong, she's, like, weak. But the standards are way higher in Luke's Academy. She once fought a Jedi Knight and fought is a bit of, like, an exaggeration. Like, that's being charitable. It stated she squashed him like a bug. She squashed a Jedi Knight like a bug. I imagine being in this tier is at least how strong you have to be able to do that to someone that strong. Like, do you think Evan Peel is squashing a Jedi Knight like a bug? I don't know. Aegon Kolar, though, he was squashing Quinlan Voss like a bug, so... yeah, this tier makes sense. Faye Coven, my bad. Grandmaster Faye Coven. She doesn't really do that much. She was in the Jedi Path book, but she has like one really crazy statement. So there were like these really heavy stones, and she's able to telekinetically lift 6 of them. And Yoda writes that he's only been able to lift 5 since he turned 700, which means, you know, she's stronger than Yoda, at least in one regard. And, like, being stronger than Yoda is no small feat. So, if Plo Koon's gassed up for winning one spar against Yoda, then she being able to telekinetically lift more weight than Yoda is definitely impressive. I'm putting her in this tier. I got stocks in Faye Coven. Alright, Jarek Caden. You beat him in a Flashpoint mission? So... like here? Yeah, like here. No, I'm gonna put him like here. These guys, like Mitra Surik, fights one-on-one. In swtor, you fight this guy with your team. So maybe you can try to hype him up and be like, you needed the team to beat him. You know, so I'll put him here. Why not? Heath Koth. He does okay against Grievous. He does okay against Grievous. Like, it stated, like, it would be more of a challenge to capture him if he wasn't injured, so... yeah, Ethkov did alright. He did alright. Cedral Gend. Okay, this guy. He gets captured by a bounty hunter. That's all he does. So, weak. Alright. Micah Jelliot. Is that an L? Michael Giet. Okay, Micah Giet. Yeah, he was on the council in the prequel era. He should be above Kukruk and Trasa since they weren't on the council. That's really all I'm going to say about him. Baractol. I remember them being like, oh, they're strong due to their, like, species. So, yeah, they also participated. I think it was the Battle of Coruscant. I could be mistaken on that. But yeah, I'll put them in can fight. Cole Skywalker. Okay, before I do that, let me rank Kia D. Mundi, alright? Kia D. Mundi is stated to be in the upper level of the Jedi Council, and directly mentioned the upper level includes Mace and Yoda. That's a crazy statement. I'm putting him right here next to my boy Plo Koon, okay? With that covered, now let me rate Cole Skywalker, alright? Cole Skywalker is a little bit of a monster, like all Skywalkers, if we're being honest, like Shmeagol met someone up, nah, but, Cole is the leader of the Jedi Council in his era. He is stated to be the greatest warrior of the Jedi, and let's be honest, the reason why he's rated so highly is his final stand. When he went down, it's estimated he took out about 13 stormtroopers, 13 Sith Lords, and had previously fought Darth Nihil. Ultimately, he died when Nihil hit him with a sneak attack of Force Lightning, but like I said before that, he one-shot Darth Nihil, who's like the 3rd strongest Sith. Easily like Jedi Master level combatant, right? And he one-shot him. Let me put this into context for you. Imagine someone fighting like a dozen clone troopers, a dozen Jedi Knights, and a Jedi Master, and beating them all. Because not only that, he was already like exhausted before the fight started. Just to put this in context, like, even further, this is Kia D. Mundi fighting about a dozen stormtroopers. Yeah, no, Cole is crazy. Yaddle. She stated not to be as martially inclined as the others. If you saw Tales of the Jedi, which is canon information, you definitely see that. But regardless, she was immensely powerful in the Force, to the point where, like, it impressed Obi-Wan, and like Anakin was like, yo, I never felt anything like that. I can barely like walk in this presence. That's crazy. So I value that more than the guy who got killed by wolves. I'm gonna be honest. Did this guy impress Anakin? No, he got killed by wolves. God damn. Zim, oh my bad. Grandmaster Zim. Although they don't deserve the title. Zim sucks, bruh. Zim is actually aggressively dog water. He gets no diffed by a bounty hunter, and that's all he does. Like, the only reason he's even this high is because, like, Orgus Din was on the council when Zim was Grandmaster, so Zim should be stronger. And Din was already fighting, like, Angrel during the sacking of Coruscant, you know what I mean? So, Zim goes here. What an embarrassment to the name, bruh. Jedi Grandmaster? Hell nah. Okay. Auric Trollis. He was a Flashpoint mission, so I'll put him like here. Jarek Caden tier. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Satele Shan. Jedi Grandmaster who deserves the title. Revan's descendant and super strong. She's able to fight Malgus, right? And Malgus is someone who can hurt the Outlander. Satele Shan is nutty. She's nutty. Oh my god. Okay, Tol Braga. Yeah, he stalemated Dark Council member, so he's like in that able to fight the Dark Council member to a draw type tier. Damn, right? Definitely top of this tier. Oh, Saba Sabatine. My bad. I meant Grandmaster Saba Sabatine. That's right. They take over from Kenneth Hammer after killing him. Yeah, we should tell you a little about her placement. Saba Sabatine is someone considered to be a high difficulty fight by Darth Caedus. He's not saying that about Mara Jade Skywalker. Plus, she literally killed Kenneth Hamner. So, I don't know. Saba Sabatine is kind of a demon, right? If Jason Solo looks at you and thinks, oh, nah, I gotta lock in, you're strong. Gnost Durrell. They fought, Darth Carid, who's his former apprentice. They fought Malgus. So, he's able to fight, like, Dark Council members. He doesn't win. Or even stalemate them like this guy. So, he's right there. Oppo Rancisis. Really strong guy. Really strong. He was like a master of battle meditation, right? And, honestly, what did he do? With his battle meditation, he was stated to be one of the strongest of all Jedi, right? And let's talk about how he died. He was using battle meditation for a month straight without stop, and then he was jumped by 6 assassins, who were also one of the best species 4 assassins, and he beats all 6 of them, right? And then he drops his guard, and that's when the Darksider, what the hell, was like Sora Bulk? Yeah, Sora Bulk sneak attacks him and impales him. That's how they kill him. And Sora Bulk and Dooku were being like, yo, we were lucky he was weakened. That's the only reason we got away with this. So, if they're planning like this hard to take this guy out, then I believe the hype of him being one of the mightiest Jedi. Oppo Rancisis is crazy. But like, he tracks. He's like a snake dude, and snakes are all muscle. So, okay, Sifo Diaz, Dooku victim. Shaul Bestros. He does nothing. I'm pulling Teely Qua ahead of him because he at least shows up in person. Yeah. Oh, Kip Duron. Kip Duron is kind of insane. From his first appearance, he was directly compared to Yoda and Old Ben. Then he had decades of training, right? And he's constantly being compared to Luke Skywalker. This guy, he's the most glazed character outside of the Skywalker family. He's actually insane. Oh, nah. Tai Vaca? This guy sucks. Oh, nah, he's trash. Alright, let me show you, right? Look at this. Look at that. That's how he dies? All he ever does in the entire series is like lift the table, hit it against the wall, and then just get shot and die. What? He's an embarrassment to his people. The only reason he's this high is because he's a Wookiee, and Wookiees are strong. Mace. Mace Windu. God, we all know it. He stated a near equal to Yoda. He beat Palpatine. So, yeah. Do I need to say more? Master of Vapod and Shatterpoint? We all know Mace. Damn. Yariel Poof. Yariel Poof. Okay. This guy. You know, he's like the expert of like illusion and mind tricks and stuff. But, yeah, that's kind of it. He's on the council, so he's strong. Like, a lot of people gas up him, like, taking in that explosion that was going to destroy the planet or something. But, like, these guys should scale way above Naga Sadow, who was, like, destroying stars and making them go supernova. So, these planetary feats ain't nothing, Proof. You ain't going higher because of that. Really funny looking dude, though. Ooh, Corran Horn. Okay, so he's a Halcyon Jedi, which means his telekinesis sucks, but he has crazy illusion and energy absorption powers. He really, his claim to fame is his dueling. He was able to duel Mara Jade and Saba 17 to like a draw. He's directly compared to Anakin Skywalker. Like, he's crazy strong. I'm also assuming it's Anakin Skywalker at the peak of his powers, because that's the only way this makes sense. Also, like I said before, that's where the Cam Soulstrike glaze comes from. He dueled Corran Horn pretty evenly 6 years before he was compared to, like, Anakin Skywalker. So, Corran is actually, like, nutty. If he had, like, telekinesis, he'd be higher, probably. So, yeah, also he's above Kenneth Hammer because he dueled Saba to a draw. Kenneth Hammer died against Saba, so. Okay, Adi Gallia. She's more martially inclined than her cousin. Her cousin focuses more on healing, but they do more or less the same. Like, she has 2 deaths, like Evan Peel. I forgot to mention that he also has 2 deaths. It's not important. Adi Gallia has 2 deaths. In one of them, she beats 2 of the Magna Guards and then fights Grievous and dies. So basically about the same as Thessaly, right? And in the other one, in the Clone Wars, she briefly fights Savage Opress, who's around Phantom Menace Maul level, give or take. And then she dies. So, she's just like right here. Able to fight Savage Opress. Able to fight Grievous. Not win. Not win. Slightly above Thessaly. Very comparable feats. And she's more martially inclined. Oh, Yoda. We all know Yoda. Strongest Jedi ever up until, like, Order 66. Right? So, right there. Right there. He loses to Sidious, but did you know that actually wasn't the peak of his power? No. So, in the original trilogy, he doesn't get weaker. He does get a bit slower. It's also confirmed he would lose to Vader, but that's neither here nor there, right? We do know, it's confirmed, he was training. And about a year after Revenge of the Sith, he fights someone with the same power as Vader, but none of the control. And he wins after like 36 hours. It's like a crazy fight. So, he's definitely stronger than he was in Revenge of the Sith, even if it's just barely. That also reminds me, Vader fought someone, what the hell is the guy's name? Vader is stated stronger than Carvastor, who is someone who is stronger than Mace and has a Force connection on the level of Yoda and Anakin. So, yeah, that just remind me, further evidence that Vader is way stronger than he was in Revenge of the Sith, right? Completely eclipsed the prequels. Okay, Shaak Ti. I've seen some people try to glaze Shaak Ti, be like, oh, she escaped Vader, she's super strong. I've seen her fight Vader. I've seen her fight Grievous. She's not that strong, right? She does take out a bunch of Magna Guards, though, and I'm not taking that away from her. That's insanely impressive. We also know she does train and get stronger by the time of The Force Awakens. I just don't know by how much stronger, so, yeah. She's going right here. She beat the Magna Guards. She lost to Grievous. She's here. Yeah, Shaak Ti, very strong. Vander Tokare. They did nothing. They also, died to Nihilus? So, oh, Coleman Trebor, bro. 360-degree vision. Master of Surisu, right? The defensive style. Stated to be able to win fights with or without his lightsaber, right? Crazy hype. He gets gunned down, just like, immediately, by an attack that Episode 2 Obi-Wan, Jedi Knight Obi-Wan, was able to block. He's not even Jedi Knight level. He sucks. Kyle Katarn, woo, what a beast. Dude, Kyle Katarn's always been about it, right? He's the battle master. He knows all 7 forms of combat, lightsaber combat, right? And Jarek, we all remember him fighting Jarek in Dark Forces 2, was stated about, like, rivaling Vader. And Kyle Katarn beat an amped version of Jarek. Then he fought Dasan, who was stated to be a threat to Luke Skywalker, beat an amped Dasan. He fights Jason Solo, right? And Jason looks at him and goes, "Oh, that's a threat." And then they fight evenly when Kyle has the help of 3 Jedi Knights who Kaidus said was nothing to him. So all he needs are the help of 3 weak Jedi Knights, apparently, and he would be equal to Kaidus. Crazy statements considering how strong Kaidus is. Also, he's directly compared to Kip Duron in terms of mental and physical strength. Kyle Katarn is a beast. Okay, Sayo Bakarn. This guy was the big climax fight at the end of the, Jedi, one of the Jedi storylines in Star Wars The Old Republic, so I'll put him right there. Yeah, above the Flashpoint missions. Makes sense. Ooh, the Piece de Resistance, the GOAT of the Jedi, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. What a GOAT, bro. What a beast. Nobody's stronger than this guy. Right, let's put it into context. Sidious, stronger than he's ever been in Dark Empire. And amped Luke beats him. 1 year later, he's stated stronger than he's ever been. And he keeps getting stronger. Even in Episode 5, he was already the strongest Jedi ever, compared to Yoda and Old Ben directly, right? I mean, it sounds crazy, and then you find out his potential is apparently rivaling, if not exceeding, that of Anakin Skywalker's. Absolutely nutty statements. And since Luke achieved his potential, he should be arguably around that 2 times Episode 6 Sidious level that George Lucas was talking about. Can't be touched, can't be beat, the absolute GOAT, Legends Luke Skywalker. And there we go. This is the completed list. That's everyone, right? Yeah. So I'll zoom out. I'll show you the list. And yeah. There we go. Well, that's all I got for you today, folks. Be sure to smash that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.